36 years of my life, I got to learn from some of the greatest. He was one of the greatest motivators of our time. And coming up in November 30th, 2012, it's been 4 years since Zig has passed. And Zig's trained and impacted the lives of nearly 20 million people. So, I mean, what his message was and still today, it's phenomenal. Sad thing about it is son Tom really can't fill the footsteps of Zig. And because he can't be, just because you're the son of one of the greatest motivators to me, you're a motivational speaker. Tom Hopkins, one of the #1 sales trainers, how to master to selling. I spent my whole sales career, I learned from him, 33 years I've been in sales. Jim Rohn, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Jim Rohn, who was Tony Robbins' teacher and mentor. Unfortunately about our products pass on, because our products are humans, they're people. And today I'm part of a team called the John Maxwell team. How many are familiar with John Maxwell? Okay, he is the leadership guru. Google leadership, guarantee it, he comes up #1. He's the best of the best in leadership. We've trained over 4 million people in 152 different countries. And I made a decision that I want to be branded with a name like that, John Maxwell. And it's just the fastest growing leadership part of what we're doing, because we never realized how many companies today aren't growing because they don't understand it's about leadership. And even if you think you're doing good right now, remember, good is the enemy of great, as Jim Collins says in Good to Great. So what most people do is they work the expectation just to get good, but they're not great. So that means there's room for growth. So what I'd like you to do is, just somewhere on that sheet of paper, I want you to write down how many people that you manage right now. Just write down how many people you manage. How many people do you manage? How many people do you manage? Just write down on a piece of paper. If you don't know, you're probably in trouble. Seriously, how many people do you manage? Then right next to it, I want you to write down how many people you lead. How many people do you lead? Jeff, how many did you write down?
50 plus.
50 plus? Steve, how many did you write down?
60.
60? Okay.
Well, which one? Lead or manage?
Either
They were
one.
different numbers, if I'm being honest with myself.
Okay, yeah. Okay, there's a difference of it. How many do you do?
250 lead.
250? Just Todd?
Yep.
Todd. Didn't recognize you. No, I didn't. Okay, so how many of you included yourself in the number? Okay. Is there a difference between managing and leading?
Yes.
Managing is you're managing numbers and activity. Even though you don't say you're a micromanager, managing is still micromanaging. Because all we're doing is we're managing numbers. Every car dealership we go in there, it's all about the board, it's about the numbers. But we're managing them, we're not leading them. There's a difference between management and leadership. Here's the responsibility of a leader, and if you call yourself a good leader, okay? The responsibility as a leader are 3 things. Number 1, inspire. What managers do is they motivate. Does anybody know the difference between managing, or motivation and inspiration? 2 different things. See, here's what managers do. They motivate. They try to move someone from the outside to get them to do something that they have to do. Typical management. A great leader moves them from the inside and gets them to do something that they want to do. There's a difference of it. So you're either managing or are you leading? There are 5 levels of leadership, and we'll go through it today because you'll get to identify where you are. It's amazing. When I speak to companies, Quicken Loans, talking about Flagstar Bank, some of the biggest companies, they didn't realize that they've been always managing. I just say, let me see your business card. I can tell you if managing and leading, because if it still says manager, you're still managing. Managing's out, especially the new millennial coming in. No one wants to be managed, they want to be led. Nothing worse than being a manager still walking in with your Franklin planner. That's pretty outdated. Spend a day with me, I go in there, they're still opening up their Franklin planners. So they're managing a team. But the most successful lead. and Kathy, Chick-fil-A, leadership. Here's what they use, servant leadership. The difference between your dealership and any other dealership, whether it's Chrysler, Dodge, I go all the way down Van Dyke, they're all over there, I speak to all of them. The difference is the leadership. Because the only way you can grow the dealership is when you grow up, the people. The people grow the business, not the owner. It's not the advertising, the people do. But what most people do is they neglect to train and make their people the best they can become. Because they're still managing. They'll get another one in. And they're just recruiting a body, they're not recruiting good potential, or let's just say good talent. So that's what a leader does. We inspire, we move them from the inside to get them to do something that they want to do, versus motivating to get them to do something that they have to do. Better get 10 cars in, man, or you're out of here. Motivation. I'll get someone to do it if you can. Motivation. But yet we call ourselves a manager or leader. The second thing that we do is we equip. If you look on the top of the sheet there, the 3 R. Equipping. How well do you equip your people? What do you provide to your people the tools necessary to help them get the job done, rather than threats? That's what most managers do. They threaten their people. That's how they equip them. And the last one is empower. It's when now you empower them, let them do it. See, regardless of how you voted, and people for 2 weeks prior, it was nothing worse than people always, what's your take on this? What's your take on this? This was before. I just do my civil right and I vote. I'm not gonna tell you who I vote for, because 99% of the people I vote for are never in the office anyway, but it doesn't matter. But no president in office, whether it be Republican, Democrat, conservative, or liberal, has ever made me healthy, or made me wealthy, or made me poor, because I have my own plan. I care less. And then I pray that they don't blow up the world for my kids. It's the best you can do. It's over. Get over it. You can't change nothing. I'm moving to Canada. Bye-bye. Go, go, and don't come back. I'm going to Mexico. Go, go, go. Don't come back. They don't understand, because we control it. But as leaders, we've got to make sure we're leading our people, but we must empower people. You'll see Trump. He never built a thing in his life. He delegated. He led people to build it. It's proper leadership. It's not about me, not executive order. It's about letting everybody work to build it. It's the same thing you should be doing at the dealership. It's not about you. You can't take a week off because the dealership will fall. Bad leadership. It should run without you, ideally. But I have to have the power. Then you're not in leadership. Surrender the power. I own 3 companies. I know what it's like. I had to write every paycheck. I had to sign it. I had to look at everything. Why? Because it was my money. I thought people were going to rip me off. Then I'm always consumed by it. How can you live a life of balance and happiness and fulfillment when you have to be there all the time? So there are 5 levels of leadership. And we're going to start from the bottom. We're going to work our way up. Level number 1, would you write down position? Position. So in position, would you write down next to it rights? So the 5 levels of leadership, which most companies, this is how they run. If you have 50 people that you quote manage or lead, this is what's interesting about level number 1. People follow you because they have to. They hate you, they can't stand you, but they follow you because they have to, because you have a title on the card. You're their paycheck. Again, they don't like you. They can't stand you. Yeah, they say nice things in your face, but you should hear what they say behind your back. Level 1, you have rights, and that's why people follow you. The average company today, that's their leadership team. It's all about the title. Making people known about their title too. If you ever look at Penn State or some of these other college football teams, Notre Dame, my son is 7 years old, he goes, how come they don't have a name on the back of his uniform? Because that's how they always, it's not about one individual, it's about the team. They don't care about who it is, it's about the team. Penn State used to do that. Notre Dame does that. It's the same thing with us. Just because you have a title on it does not make the leader makes the title. But yet no one ever had management or leadership training. They were taught salesperson because they didn't want to lose them. So what they did is they say, I'll make you a manager now. So now they're a new car, used car sales manager, whatever, and that's what it is. Never managed. They're great salespeople, but they're terrible leaders. Position, rights, level number one. Level number two is permission. And right next to permission, would you write down relationships? So people follow you because they like you. People follow you because you're a good person, you're connected with them. It's permission. They give you permission to lead me. You give them permission because you empower, you inspire them. It's level number two. But remember, everybody starts out at level number one. But then the great thing about it is we got to move up to level number two. But the better you become, the better then you get to move up to the level. It's not that you've been managing the store for 30 years. It does not make you a great manager or leader. It's as did you grow into the levels. Look at level number three. Level number three is production. And here's the key word. It's called results. Level three is production results. People follow you because you've done it before. They see what you produce. They've seen you walk up and meet and greet a customer, bring down the defensive barriers, instant credibility because your charisma, and all of a sudden you take them to the table, you go through pre-qualification, take them for a demo ride, and you ride them up, and you even get gross out of the car. They see that. People follow you because you practice what you preach. Because there's nothing worse, and I've been there, where some of these companies, where the kids take over the business from the parents, but they never sold a thing, never were porter, never were in service, but yet they got the title, and people are following because it's the owner's it.
Damn kids.
The damn kids.
You were both orders then.
But not this, but you know what I'm saying? Some of these dealerships, though, they do that. But so here's the goal. We got to grow into that, because you just because you have a title doesn't mean you're going to move people. And here's what's worse: when you have a bunch of people going through and they're not getting any better, and you're recruiting different people, it's a revolving door. That's not how you do the business. Because level number 4 is one of the key levels you want to get to. And on level number 4, would you write down people development? This is the level that you want to be in, to where now it's your job as a leader to develop these people and help them become the best people they can become. It's not about grinding it out, man. It's about helping these people become the best people they can. Because most people have a job, have a life outside of the Zott Auto Group. They do, believe it or not, they do. But the key of it is how do we develop them to be the best? In my company, and I'm working with 2 other guys right now that own companies right now, I coach these guys, and the first thing I tell them, I said, here, you gotta help your people. Hold their heart before you hold their hand. People don't care what your title is until they find out how much you care. You know that 90% of the people that I come into and I work with, or that come work for me, the first thing that we start them out with is we want to find out where are they in their life balance. Do you know that 9 out of 10 people most of the time are struggling financially, have a ton of debt, are living paycheck to paycheck? They even ask in the interview, how soon can I get can you give me an advance? You haven't even started yet. They're struggling financially. So what if you were a leader to be able to help them, to teach them about financial literacy? Now, if you live it, you can teach it. But teaching about income to debt ratio to get out of debt. What if you could do that? I hear some managers say, oh, I want to get my salespeople into debt so they're motivated to go out and sell. It's the wrong way of doing it. Old school. But still, people, that's the mentality of it. Wow, how would you like someone to have working under your leadership say, here, buy this car. I know you can't afford it yet, but you have to really sell a lot of cars. I mean, that's not how it works, but people do that. We want to develop the people to become the best people they can become, because they're representing the company and they're the only ones that will grow the business. People that have been in the business for 40, 50 years, they're on their way out. It's the new generation that carries it up. Because they bring new energy and excitement. Level number 5 is the ultimate, it's where we want to get, it's called the pinnacle. And then right next to that, the key words is respect. So as we go from position to permission to production to people development, we want to get to the pinnacle. It's called respect. So I know you're all looking at these 5 levels, and you're probably saying, I wonder what level I'm at. I mean, I know I would. write down the level or circle the level where you think you are right now as a leader. Circle the number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What level do you think you are on? How many would put yourself at the highest level, the pinnacle? Who would put themselves at level number 5, pinnacle? Okay. Now, do you know how you know if you're at level number 5? You never declare it, your people declare it. So, no matter how many people you lead, if you really want to know, I would do a one-on-one with them. And I would ask them about you and your leadership, because your people will tell. Their people will dictate, tell you how well of a leader you are. What's funny about it is, I wonder how many would say that that's all they do is manage, and they don't lead. There's a difference of that. But let me put it this way, for every person that you lead right now, you're gonna be on different levels with different people. You hire a brand new person, that's at level number 1 with you. Your goal is to take them with you up the ladder. That's what you do. You don't hire new people, you grow your people. When you grow your people, you grow the capacity, and then you grow the dealership. We don't have to hire many more people, it's just growing the people you have right now. So how do we do that? Well, it's through effective personal management. Effective personal management. So how many agree you cannot manage time? So don't take a seminar that's time management's a myth. You can't manage it, because no one gets more than 24 hours in a day, period. What you gotta do is manage yourself with the time. How do we do that? Well, there's some different ways and different tools, but let me give you what I call the 3 Ds that'll help you be more effective. Remember, being efficient means you're doing things right, being effective means you're doing the right things. Most of you are efficient, is said whether or not we're effective. Number 1, okay, is do it. These are the 3 Ds. Let me explain to you. What I do every single day is I make a list as I start my day. I have a daily routine. 4:45, I'm at the gym at 5. I'm done with that, I do my 30 minutes of quiet time with God. This is what I do. I'm a man of faith, not afraid to admit it, it's my freedom. But this is what I do. And then by the time I'm home, shower, dress, I have connection time with my kids at 7:15 before they go off to school. About 45 minutes, sometimes a half hour, but I spend the time with my kid intentionally. And then I'm at the office at 8 o'clock. When I go to the office, I have 10 most important things I need to do for business, 10 most important for personal. In my day, I balance it out. And then I look at my business side of it, I've got 10 things. And then what do I have to do to the 10? There's 4 things that only I can do, so I have 4 to do. That's how I do it. And then number 2, right next to number 2, write this one, delegate it. Delegate it. So a good leader is gonna delegate. So I have 10 things I have to do for the business side, 4 things I know I have to do, and there's 4 other things that I can delegate to my assistant Melissa or Beth. So anybody that can do it just as good as you, or at least 80%, delegate it. Delegate it. And the last one, the third one, is dump it. Dump it, get rid of it. So I start with 10, I only have to do 4 things, 4 I can delegate, and the other 2 I dump. But yet, I'm so busy. So, people are task-driven, doesn't work anymore. Be outcome-driven. Task-driven. You try to chase 2 rabbits, you won't catch either one. Oh, I'm so busy. Doing what, man? Delegate this, delegate that. What are you doing? Free up your time. Be a smart leader. That's the key of it. So the 3 Ds, be effective, is doing the right things. It's very simple. You do what you have to do, you delegate what you can delegate to. Someone can do it 80% or better than you, delegate it. Surrender power. Surrender it. Oh, it won't get done right. Well, then let them test. Here's empowerment now. Oh no, I gotta do it. Really? You're not leading. We want to grow through the leadership. So the ultimate goal is you don't even have to be here and run self-sufficiently. It's your ultimate goal. And if you have to be there, then you're not building a good company. Berkshire Hathaway, think about it. Now with what Buffett owns right now, almost over 121 companies, he's not at any of them. Leadership runs it. Doesn't have to be in a hand in it. There's a difference of it. So effective personal management. Manage yourself will be the best way with the time you have. But when we go through the next part, here's what you need to do with each one of your people, especially if you have more than, if you're in charge of lead 50 people, kind of the rule is 20 people is kind of the best way to do it. You'd be effective that way. When you're 60, 70, 100 people, you're trying to lead on that. Unless you have good leadership below you on that, it's impossible to lead because you're leaving people out. That's like having 20 kids. I mean, it's not gonna be effective on that. But there are, building a life of significance, here's your goal. How do you grow your people? There are 4 levels of growth. Your obligation as a leader is to help your people grow to each level. But remember, if you're not doing it, then you have no right to teach other people. Level number 1 was right down survival. I'll bet you right now that some of the people that you lead right now live a life of survival. They live paycheck to paycheck. They have too much month at the end of their money. They rob from Peter to pay Paul. They're in survival. Some people in sales especially, I know in our business for sure, because we have a traveling sales team, I mean, they're running from either paying taxes or something because they'll work for us for about 9 months. Next thing you know, they're gonzo. Next thing you know, 2 months later, you got the IRS say, hey, but does so-and-so work there right now? We want you guys. He's running. Figure that out. I don't know what it is. But so here's what we're saying. Help people get out and identify who's in survival, because your goal, if you want to be at level number 4 in people development, is how do we get them out of survival? Don't be a problem solver, because that's not your problem. They have personal challenges. You can help, you can give some input on it, but you can't absorb it, man. They'll suck the bone marrow out of you. Now your energy's drained. Level number 2 is stability. It's nice to have stable people that you lead, but you don't want them to rent space there. You want them to grow, right? Stable means they're getting by. How many of you know salespeople that they could do better if they really wanted to, but they hit their number and that's where they stay. They're stable. I only need to do 12 cars a month, man. That pays my bills. See, that number 1, we got to get them to see more. That's our job as a leader. I got to paint a vision. I got to get you the law of buy-in. Hey, you got $20,000 in debt. Let's keep plugging away. Let's get you to 20 cars a month. You believe we can do 20 cars a month with good growth out of each car? Let's do it. Because at the end of the year, we paid off your debt. What does that do? Eliminate stress. Now you're selling freedom instead of selling because you have to. Again, inspire them. Level number 3 is success. The good leaders know what the definition of success is to each and every person you lead, because everyone's going to have a different meaning of success. Dig down deep, find out more about them. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Then we go back to, because we have a title, you're going to do what I tell you to. No, I want to help you become the best you can become. And when you're sincere like that, they see it. The buy-in on that, they say, my manager cares. I will break my back for this person. That's where you want to be in leadership. And level number 4, the highest level, is called significance. Oh, did I give you success yet? Yeah, I did. So the top level is significance. To live a life of significance, and here's what significance is. It has nothing to do with money or possessions. It's when you live a life of significance, it's how many people you can help. It's adding value and pouring into people. That's a life of significance. It's one of the highest levels to get to. Most people go their whole lives and still get to success, think they're successful, but yet there's one more level we want to get to. So here's our goal as a leader. Help them identify. Let's identify, where are they? If I lead 50 people, I need to know which is who. I need to put them in category and find out what level I am with this group, and that my goal is to work with these people, get up to here. That's what leadership, it's work. It's not just coming to work and just pounding out, let's sell some cars, guys. It's not how it is. It's about people, because you can't do it by yourself. You have to do it with people. And if you got a good team, I mean, you have a pretty good team right now. Let's make them better though. How do we do it? Personal development. But if you can't add value to you, then you can't add value to them, because you don't know anymore. I speak to people and I go, man, you're still talking the same stuff we were talking about 6 years ago when I first met you. Don't you know any more? That's it. That's all. They grew to that. It's called the growth lid. And right now, here's your whole goal, is to be able to get it to the next level. The law of the lid says, on a scale 1 to 10, where is your crew? Where's your team on a scale 1 to 10? 5, let's get it to a 7. But it will not grow until your leadership grows. Everything rises and falls in leadership. Always has and always will. So, turn your sheets over real quick. I want to talk about the last 2. So you got to know where your people are. So we inspire We moved them from the inside. We equip them now. How do we equip people? Well, there are 5 steps in equipping people. Just giving you kind of a taste of a little bit, so I want you to just think and ponder it. Number 1, just put down, I do it. So you can't teach what you do not know. And as a good leader, you gotta be able to demonstrate that I've been there, I've done that, let me show you how to do it. Especially when it comes to when I work with the dealerships about half the people don't know how to pick up the phone and make a call. The majority of them are sitting from waiting for an up. And we'll walk into your dealership, I don't think I got greeted by one person. In fact, no person greeted me. But isn't it crazy, regardless of it? Why not? Who am I? I didn't even know some of them. But then finally, do you need any help? Yeah, I'm looking to buy a car. She goes, really? I go, yeah, I'm gonna talk to a salesperson. I'm a salesperson. And then Jeff came out. But here's what we're saying. I do it. I'm gonna equip you, but I'm gonna show you how I do it. And then number 2 is, the next part is, I do it and you're with me, because now I'm gonna show you. So first thing is I gotta do it first. I can't teach if I've never done it. I can't give you what I do not possess. But now I'm gonna do it and I want you to watch me. Just watch me. Shadow me, as people say. And then number three, I want you to write down, you do it now, and now I'm gonna be with you. Here, you do it now. I'm gonna watch you. Let me watch you. Let me critique you. Let me tweak it. But you're up. I'm gonna watch you. And then number 4 is, now you do it by yourself. Equipping, I'm gonna empower. Now here, now you go do it. It's all yours. I'm not gonna watch you. This is all yours. You get the next step. Let's go. You do it. And it doesn't stop there, because the 5th one is the most critical part. Is now you do it, and someone's gonna be with you. I want you to train the next person. Because it's just like compound interest with money and people. You cannot duplicate it unless they are training somebody else as well. It's not about you anymore. When you get the true line of leadership, it's not about you. The win, it's about the team. You stand back, you no longer need the limelight. It's about your people. And then most people say, oh, if it wasn't for me, man, we would have never did it. It's all because of me. We're not in that right position right now. It's about the people. And how many agree as well, most of the middle producers that could be the top producers don't get the praise like the top producers get the praise every single time. So we want to make sure we include it, because they're the future anyway. They're the future anyway. And the last part we'll talk about, and this is you. You create this in your energy when you go to the dealership. And I don't care if you're having the worst day in the world. I don't care whoever you wanted to be elected was not elected. Put it aside. I don't care if you got screaming fight with your wife at home and the kids are. Put it aside. When you come here, it's game time. This is the stadium. You got dressed. It's game time. And when I leave here, I'm going to be outcome driven, and I'm going to lead my people, because I'm going to equip them, I'm going to inspire them to get the common goal for the day, not for the month, for the day. And I'm going to inspire each person, so when we do have our sales meeting, they walk out and say, that was a great meeting. Rather than say, oh gosh, sales meeting, not even looking at you. Talk about the advertising, here's the ad that's broke today, here's what they're going to do, here's the numbers, what you did today. I mean, it's the same old thing in every dealership I go into. Do you think the people even want to be there? No, because they didn't learn nothing from it. It's your job as a leader to make sure when they leave, they got something out of it. I got something out of that meeting. That was awesome. You bring me in there, I guarantee it, they get something out of the meeting. Every time. Whether they want to hear it or not, but it inspires them. That's your job. That's your job. But here's the last part of it. It's the mindset. It's the attitude. See, the thing about sales, period, it's 33%, 33%, 33%. 33% is product knowledge. Your people have the product knowledge. When they walk up in the morning tomorrow, if they're working tomorrow, that's not going to change. They already know the product knowledge. The other 33% is their sales skills, their salesmanship. 33% of that. Whether they're going to sell a car or not, 33% is product knowledge, 33% is the sales skill side. When they wake up to come into the office tomorrow, come to the store tomorrow, that skill set hasn't changed much. Pretty much the same. But the last third is the key. 33% of the success of selling a car is their mindset and the attitude when they come in. And the attitude and the mindset changes every 14 seconds. They're excited about coming in. Well, some of them aren't excited coming in on Saturday. It's gonna be cold, right? They're already speaking the blues right now. So they prep themselves before they even come in. Now it's stage time and they have that defeat look on themselves. So it's all about priming them up to get it. And now it's our job as leaders to train them. How do we condition it? How do we maintain self-mastery? The hardest thing to do, because we don't work on it. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Has anyone read that book? I read it a long time ago. I just picked it up again. I'm telling you, it hit me. Write this down. You want to get this book. As a Man Thinketh. The author is James Allen, and the copyright is 1902. The spin-off from Think and Grow Rich, The Richest Man in Babylon, every book that's ever been written came from As a Man Thinketh. It'll help you understand on how you can condition your people to come with a positive state every single day. When they get here, they should be ready to rock and roll, but they have a positive state, and that's what you want to do, right? But here's where it starts. There's a circle of responsibility. The circle of responsibility, and you got to teach your people this. You have your circle, they have their circle. The negative people will invite your people to their circle. Don't go. They will slurp you, right? No one likes to get slurped. But here, in the circle of responsibility, here's what you're responsible. These 4 things. Number 1, thoughts. Your thoughts. No man, nobody should ever control how you think. You control 100% of how you think. You can think any way you want to think, but you control it. Do not let somebody come into your circle and get you to think a way that you don't want to think. I'm telling you right now. But the weak-minded, guess what? They get them. Remember, people do what people see. The greatest motivator of a leader is when people do what people see, right? In my history of my life, I don't remember any president, I don't remember protests being like this, ever. That's only in socialistic countries. I'm telling you right now. And then someone said earlier, but when Barack was elected, because they didn't do it because it'd be racist, so they didn't do it. Never thought of it that way. Another way of looking at it. But we control how we think. You can think any way you want to think. That's why when you read the book, As a Man Thinketh, whatever we put out in vibration or thought always comes back. It's going to be slow today. Don't say that. You just put it out there. And now I'm affected someone else's circle. It's going to be, why are we even here? It's going to be slow, right? But that's how salespeople are.
It's the 3rd of July.
It's the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, but we're still in November, guys, right? But that's what we have to teach them this, because otherwise they're conditioned one way. The way they think is the way they think. Our job as a leader is to lead them and say, there's another way of thinking about it, guys. There's another way of thinking. What if you could? Here, write this down. Every single day, the first thing you have to say to yourself, if I knew I couldn't fail, what would I attempt today? There's a good way to get you going. If I knew I wouldn't fail, what would I attempt? I'm going to attempt everything. I'm going to make these calls. This is the key. But we're getting them to think differently. Number 2, in our circle of responsibility is our feelings. Protect how you feel. Is that a baby?
Or next person.
We hit that every time we sell a car.
Oh, that's a good one. So how we feel. Think about that. So you can feel any way you want to feel. But it's how you prime yourself before you get out of the car and you walk into the dealership. And I'm telling, but as a leader, you lead by example, man. It's your energy, right? They're going to follow that. But if you're dragging, they're going to drag. Feel good about it, right? Hey, we live in America, not Syria. I mean, there's a step up right there. It's not that bad. It really isn't that bad here. It's not. But right?
I tell everyone that.
Where are you from, Dargo?
I grew up in Montenegro. I'm from
Okay,
here.
okay.
Go from here.
But this isn't a bad place to live, right?
It's a great place.
I know. You can tell the people on the streets that too, but you know, so we got to control how we think, how we feel. Number 3, our perception. Your circle of responsibility is protect what you see. You can see anything you want to see. You know, isn't it interesting on how we always automatically prejudge people? I've been there, I've done that. I'm guilty of it. But how many have ever seen a bum on the street that holds up the sign, always says, God bless? Well, they believe in God or they don't, but they always say, God bless, right? It's kind of the pity part, feel sorry for me. But all of a sudden, most people, well, why doesn't everybody give the guy money? Because the first thing in their mind that comes from is the negative thought. They prejudge it. They say, they'll probably spend it on what? Drugs or alcohol. But here's what's sad. We don't know the whole story of this person. How do you know he wasn't a Vietnam vet or World War II vet that fought for our freedom today? But we got to vote on Tuesday. The guy never touched a drop of alcohol or a drug in his life. He's just homeless. But yet the first thing we say is because we're conditioned to see the worst. So we protect our feelings and emotions. This is how we are as humans. Think about it. Okay? I don't do it all the time, but sometimes it compels me. I say, you know what? Something just says, give them $5. And sometimes they're in my face, like, get away from me. I'm not gonna give you nothing now. But you know what I'm saying? But so we have to look at it, control how we think, how we feel, what we see. And the last one is our actions. How we think, how we feel, what we see affects our actions. And it could be something where someone's gonna say, it looks like it's got a foot of snow tomorrow. I wonder how every car salesperson would react if they heard that. Isn't it amazing? Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago where I remember we kept on dumping, or dumped all the way to almost April. You remember that? And every time I was going in, I was Southfield, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and I remember walking in there before he sold the dealership, and you got everyone's out there just mad at the world on a Saturday, and to take all the snow off the cars, and the guy goes, if I got paid for every time I had to shovel snow off a car, I would have made more than the cars I sold. Wow, that's pretty bad. What's the difference? So what, it's a little snow. You're only as good as how many appointments you have to deliver today. Do you have any appointments? Give me a break. It's not an up system. It's not Wendy's, can I take your order? We're salespeople. We get paid when we sell, not when you complain. So that circle of responsibility, you gotta control yours, but you gotta teach your people how to control it. Because I'm telling you, the drunk monkey that's always on the shoulder is always gonna be in your ear telling you not to do what you need to do. It's that voice. But here's how we have to control it. 2 paths to choose from, write this down. Path of persistence, path of least resistance. We're 100% responsible for our own circle. There are some negatives that are the clues that take us on this path. Number 1 is lazy. See, these are the little things that talk us in our head. The drunk monkey. Oh man, you just relax, man. It's gonna slow anyways, man. Just don't even worry. We get lazy. Number 2, you start complaining. You spend 5 minutes complaining, you wasted 5 minutes. Shut up, you're not a woman, you're a man. Oops, sorry, did I just say that? Okay, so, there's no women in the room, right? Okay, so shut up, you're not a girl, right? But a grown man complaining is one of the worst things in the world. Seriously? And you're a father, you have kids, and you're a complainer? I don't get it. So now we have a lazy, complaining salesperson out there. Send him home. Loser. Not gonna make it. Contagious. Number 3 is excuses. When you start making excuses and you have an alibi, why you didn't hit your number this month, why you didn't hit your number last month, why, give me a break, it's not what it is. So successful people don't have excuses, they always have a solution. And the last one is procrastination. And right next to procrastination, put its twin brother, it's called indecision. So what I'm sharing with you on this side, the path of least resistance, which the majority of the people will take almost every single time because it's easier not to do than it is easy to do. Anyways, if you think about it, it is easy to do, it's easier not to. You'll take the path of least resistance because you're lazy, complain, make excuses, and procrastinate. So what I'm saying here is this, the salespeople, think about it right now. Here, whoever you lead right now, it's not that they don't have the product knowledge, they have it. It's not that they don't have the sales skills, they have it. It's just their attitude and the mindset's changing constantly. Your obligation is keep it in tune. That's all you gotta do. That's your job as a leader. Give them the hope, give them the vision. Rather than just, gotta get the numbers down, we're down on this thing, we got 2 more minutes, we got. People hear that all the time. Lead them, guide them, give them hope. On the positive side, this is where you have to be all the time. Number 1 is passion. You gotta be passionate. I don't care if you have to take 2-shot espresso, I think a 5-hour energy drink, but I'm telling you, man, you gotta be up at all times. Energy levels gotta be high all the time, especially in the dealerships. Passion. You gotta love what you do. Number 2 is commitment. Let your people see that you're committed to success. Let them see what you're reading. Give them a book and say, here, you know what? I just finished this book, As a Man Thinketh. You gotta read this book. Here, Attitude is Everything by Keith Harrell. Read this book. Right? Read this book on sales. Here, whatever it is, financial peace for finance, whatever it is, but you gotta help these people. Because I'm telling you, they remember that you helped them and their family. Now you're at level number 4, and they'll break their back for you. That's your goal, to get your people to that level. Number 3 is driven. Find out what drives them. You should sit down with your one-on-ones before you start the new year and ask them not only what their goals are for the year, but what are some of their personal goals? What are their family goals? What are the goals that they want to accomplish? As your leader, it's my obligation to help you get there. I will equip you with the tools to help you get that. That's how a good leader, we put your name on, now you're accountable for it. That's my goal. And of course, the last one is persistence. Teach your people the way of persistence. Other different things on what it takes to be persistent, because without persistence, there'll never be success. So as a leader, whatever level you're on, our goal is to grow ourselves to the next level. But we want to take our people with us. Some of them aren't going to pan out. Granted, that's just the nature of the business. But always live with rule number 1 in leadership. If you can't change your people, then change your people. Because they'll take you down with them. And you don't want to go that way. Anyway, what I share with you today is just simply 2 out of the 300 I'll be sharing live at an upcoming event. I want you to jot this down if you want on the bottom of your sheet. I'm doing a leadership program. It's how to become a real success in leadership. And the date and time is on December 19th. It's from 8:30 to 12. It's a half-day event. It's a small event. There's no more than 40 people in it. Managers, leaders, owners of companies that come to this. I have a couple pastors that are signed up too, because it's about leadership. But it's from 8:30 to 12. It's in Novi at the DoubleTree Hotel. 8:30 to 12. When you enter the program, I'll give you a workbook. It will have the 300 points and ideas already written out for you, where we'll talk about the 5 levels of leadership, how to equip your people, how to be in the proper state of mind all the time as a leader. So this is kind of just a test drive, so to speak, of this half-day event. But when you walk out of it, you'll get some ideas, and I'll talk to you about the law of connection. See, everyone communicates if you connect. I'd be curious, are you connecting with your people or just communicate with them? Do they really open up to you? It's like what a great salesperson does. We ask questions, we lead, they open up. Get a person, every one of your people, a good leader, they can get a man, I don't care who it is, they can get them to put their heart on the table and open up and be vulnerable. If you can do that, you're connecting with your people. Because sometimes they're afraid to tell you everything. That's your goal, to build that relationship. So good leaders build relationships, but that's what you'll learn in the program, all right? On the bottom of your sheet, you'll see where it says investment. And obviously, if you invest in anything, what do you expect to get out of your investment? And what's the most valuable asset you can ever invest in? Yourself. Jot this down. The investment of the program to go to the event is $450 tax-deductible dollars. One of the reasons that I talked to Jeff about this is by coming in, because you guys are our clients, we offer, of course, the promotional discount on it. If you are interested in it, cross out the $450 and put $250 down. That's what the investment would be. Yes, we provide coffee. That's always the first thing. Is there coffee going to be there? Yeah, there's going to be coffee there. Just pay $250 for the coffee and you can stay. But it's $250 if you're interested in going to that event. I do them usually at the end of the event as I travel, but I always like to come back to Detroit, where I live in Novi, and I like to make sure I provide for my clients here. So as we start out and wrap up this year, we start thinking about New Year, what are some of the things as us as leaders that we can work on to be better leaders? Because again, it's not about you, it's what your people say about you. That's determines your leadership level. Okay. Any questions? Questions? No. So we didn't have sales or service in here, we just sales, okay. Because the service people lead too, right? Do you guys have collision? Do you have collision parts in that? Yeah, see, they should be in that too, because they're the other ones. So every one of yours in the dealership, you have a profit center each one. Everything's led by the leadership of that. So the reason why I say that is just a lot of the other, I said, yeah, invite all the.
I invited them.
What day is December 19th? What day?
Monday.
Huh?
It's a
Monday.
It's on a Monday.
It's the day after our Zot party.
Oh, it is.
Oh gosh, I heard about those op parties.
Yeah,
You heard about the Zot
No, great job.
Thank you for coming out. No, thanks, man, I appreciate it,
Matt.
thanks.